Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the stock market show. Let's go over Cybl stock. I just want to point out they have. Wait, what? The page not found. Oh, I was looking forward to reading something here. Page not found. What is the business plan for growth here? That's not what I'm looking for. Is Cybl buying back their shares? Although approved by the board of directors in 2022, Cybl does not currently have a stock buyback program in place. Yeah, so there's no share buyback as of. But if they announce one at some point, this thing's gonna go again. I think we will get another pump. I don't know if it's gonna happen soon, but I believe, in my opinion, I think they're gonna get a big contract. This partnership with Palantir, if anything, we know the kind of contracts that Palantir gets. We can Google that. No, Palantir blood test. No, Palantir contracts. Because the contracts that Cybl has gotten they've been million here, there, 15 million, I think was the biggest one maybe. They weren't that great. I mean, it's something, right? Yes, but it's not, 100 million contract. This agreement gives Palantir 178 million. Like, that's the kind of contract that I believe we will get in the future. U.S. Army contract that would eventually deliver annual recurring revenue approaching 100 million. Like, that's what we're looking for here. So that's the big catalyst that I'm waiting for, on top of any other partnerships that it gets with other companies. I don't think I don't think it moves on earnings. Cybl does not move on earnings, if I recall. Let me see. Well, I was looking for an E, but there's no E. E stands for earnings. I don't think it moves on earnings, if I recall. So we don't really have to be concerned with earnings. Earnings, nobody cares. Nobody cares about earnings. Looks like maybe buyers are trying to find support here. The candles are getting. This candle is smaller than this one, so at least on the technicals. We should maybe, depending on how it closes today, we should maybe see some sideways action here around the 60s, but I don't want to buy at 60s. If it runs away from me, oh well, too bad. Whatever, I don't care. I'm holding uranium and a Nvidia Leap, so I'm good. Why is the company not responsive to investor inquiries? When will it uplist? Okay, so yeah, we anticipate that in connection with an uplisting, Uplist would use that kind of wording too. In anticipation, in a connection with an uplisting, a restructuring of Cybl's capitalization would be required and reflected in an amendment to our Articles of Incorporation. Yeah, if they uplist, I just hope they don't announce a reverse split, because the moment they do that, I imagine this would drop. Then I would want to buy after the reverse split at that point. I really hope they don't just drop it on us like that. I hope they just announce ahead of time, like, hey, here's what's going to happen in the future. I think the last time a company reported, I saw a penny stock report that they're going to uplist, the stock skyrocketed like 100%. So I wonder if Cybl announces an uplist, I wonder if it just immediately starts running. That's what I wonder. But that's another potential catalyst. What plans does the company have to reverse the dilution? They haven't been diluting. I don't think they've been diluting. Isn't their share structure pretty much the same as always? Isn't it just Cybl stock? Pretty sure the outstanding shares have stayed the same, no? I'm holding the mic on one hand and typing with the other hand. That's why I'm typing so slow. Maybe I should just put the mic down, I guess, or I should get a mic stand. Yeah, the shares outstanding should be 6 billion, no? Isn't it just, I don't think it's changed ever. As far as I can remember. Yeah, sure, 6 billion. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. What dilution? Yeah, so there's nothing to. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. They're not diluting like AITX. I think AITX announced dilution today as well. But anyways, this is not AITX, so I'm not concerned about dilution with this company. When will the company implement a stock buyback plan? Of course, there first needs to be sufficient operational cash flow to support a stock buyback. So that's not gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna buy back. I'd rather they put their money towards research and development and all that. Because there's a stock called Color Stock. For those of you who don't know, there's a stock called Color Stock who takes all their cash and buys Bitcoin. Instead of putting that money towards research and development, they're looking. I guess they're looking to become a Bitcoin treasury. I don't know, but the stock did a reverse split and it's tanking, as one would expect. So I'm like the fact that I'm seeing Color do this, and I see Cybl Lux is willing to say, hey, we're focused on on getting to the point of having operational cash flow before we even think about a stock buyback plan. Like that's good. Please focus on that. Please focus on the company, not not a short-term catalyst that'll pump the stock and then it'll drop again. Anyways, that doesn't make sense because that's what that means. A stock buyback plan is just the reason people want that is just because they want the pump. That's about it. People who want stock buyback plans right now aren't really thinking about the company's interests. Because if you care about the company, you don't want a buyback plan right now. You want them to focus on R&D. That's just the truth. Anyone who wants a stock buyback plan right now, they just want that short-term pump. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, right? If you've been around long enough, you know that. How about executives buying company stock? Again, they want insiders to buy to pump up the stock. These are just short-term traders that want this to move so they can make lots of money. They don't have patience. Due to insider information rules, the company has no plan to encourage purchases or sales of company stock by insiders. Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of that... Yeah, remember when everyone was talking about the litigation and being sued or whatever? It's so stupid. So stupid. It doesn't mean anything. People are just... They just love to pick at anything. They just look for... They just love to look for reasons to say, oh, this stock sucks. When in reality, it's far and beyond better than Islands and AITX at least. Yeah, let's see. Let me see. You know what's funny? Every time this company has said that they're going to do something, they always have followed through. So I believe them when they say that they're going to implement a stock buyback program at some point. I think it will happen. I believe them. After everything that has happened with this company, the fact that they followed through and have gotten to this point where they have a Panther partnership, I believe them. I think it will happen, but it's not going to happen right now. Where do you see Cybl in 5 years? What is the roadmap for achieving your goals? We expect Cybl to become a global defense technology leader and help move the defense industry forward as a military industrial complex 2.0 company. Wow, they called it too. They called it because this is from a long time ago. Let me see. When was? I don't see a date. Is there a date on this? No, there's no date on this. This was from a while ago. Interesting that they look at what he said. Our thesis is that the U.S. and our partner nations will be focused on peace through strength for the next decade. Accordingly, the opportunities available to our UAS, DMC, GIS teams, both within the U.S. Department of Defense and across our global allies, are significant. And look where they are now. And this is just the beginning. So I'm just going through the due diligence right now for my sake, and I figured I'd make a video on it because I was like, you know what, might as well. How does Cybl plan to address cash flow issues and when is stability expected? Based on signed contracts, we have several years of operating capital in the pipeline. The most recent 2 quarters represent an initial snapshot in our anticipated growth trajectory. Of course, growth requires cash, but we believe that Our growth plans will result in a sustained cash flow as we continue to deliver on contracts. So, stock buyback plan will happen, I'm sure, in a few years. That's what I'm, at least how I'm interpreting it. You know what? People keep asking this. How will the company address the nearly 6 billion shares outstanding? What? This is just day traders asking this. I mean, if they uplist via reverse merger, they could uplist via reverse merger into a company that has a low float. Because that's what people want. People want the company to buy back the shares to bring it down to a low float. Because if it's a low float, then it can go to dollars and they can be rich because they have probably a lot of shares. Because these people aren't really thinking about the company's well-being. They're just thinking about themselves and hoping that they buy back so it pumps. They can take profit, then buy back in when it gets cheap. And then hopefully it becomes a low float, and then it pumps huge from cents to dollars. That's the mentality there. When someone asks these kinds of questions, that's not a real investor. That's a day trader. That's someone looking for the pump, or someone who wants it to become a low float so that it actually moves more than just 100 or 300%. They want 2021 all over again is what that means. That's how I interpret these questions being asked. Because they've already pounded the table on this over and over again, told you this. They keep repeating themselves. It would be nice if it became a low float, but that's not the reality. So either way, when they uplist, if they reverse merger into a company with a low float, then this is going to be one hell of a stock to play once they uplist. Because it'll have the low float, and when it goes, it'll move like $5. Because that's the power of having a low float. But it doesn't have that right now. That's why it only moved to 1.5 cents, and then now it's down like 50%. So that's just how it is. I think if it becomes a low float, it would have to be via reverse split or reverse merger. Every time I'm assuming the CEO answered this. Every time the CEO answers any of these questions, if you read between the lines, what they're really saying is, "Look, we're focused on the company." That's really what they're saying. Look, let me translate what CEO Mark Schmidt is trying to say. Look, you're an investor. I get it. Some of your day traders, I know you want to make money and lots of it, but we're focused on the business. That's what it is. And I'm grateful for that. Please continue to focus on the business, not, making these day traders happy. This video is longer than I expected. I forgot how long this thing is. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, good to know. Will Cyberlux prioritize transparency by providing regular updates to long-term investors? We have posted our... Yeah, you know what? I like that they don't communicate that much. Because AITX communicates all the time. Communicates all the time, and it's just fluff. It doesn't really move the stock. Out of like 100 PRs from AITX, maybe there's a 2% chance that one of them moves it. I've already done the math because I'm one of those people who breaks things down. I will go through each PR for an entire year and count the numbers, do the math, and I guess I should use ChatGPT at this point to do the math for me. But it comes down to like 2 to 3% of all AITX news pieces, headlines, maybe move the stock. So the fact that Cyberlux is willing to be transparent and say just straight up, hey, we have posted our communication process and practice on the website. We will adhere to it. In general, we communicate news and achievements in our quarterly and annual filings with intermittent material news releases. Recognizing that generally the defense industry does not move quickly, we believe that outlook and expectations should generally be adequately conveyed on a quarterly basis. So they're only going to communicate around earnings, is what I assume. And maybe every now and then drop something. So that's fine. I really hate looking at 100 pieces of headlines and having to do the math like AITX. People asking for buyouts. Get out of here. I guess that's it. So there's your due diligence for Cybl stock. I think it's a buy. I'm gonna be greedy and wait to see if it comes down. Oh, that's color stock. No, that's not the right one. I'm gonna be greedy and wait for at least low 005s, at least, and I'll start accumulating. I'm not gonna lump sum. I'm probably just gonna do what I did when AITX was nice and cheap and going sideways. Add a little bit at a time once it gets down a certain amount. Because right now, usually the purple line is what I like to do, but right now, from low to where it's at right now, it's at 15. Imagine buying the top on this. It's 59% down from the high. At the purple line, it would be 62% off. But I made the mistake last time of buying 50% off, and it just kept going down. So the biggest level, if we go to the weekly, yeah, the biggest level is going to be 003s. So I'll be keeping an eye on this, man. What the hell? Why can't I move this? Okay, there we go. So if I wait for 003s, I'm getting about a 75% discount from the high. That's how I think of it, at least. That's how I view things. Like, I want discounts and I want them as big as possible. Sometimes I'm so greedy I miss out because I wanted it even cheaper. That's going to happen sometimes, and that's okay. It is what it is. That is it for the video. Hopefully this due diligence was helpful to the newer ones. I mean, if you've been around, you already knew this. Yeah, you should have already known this. But I needed to do the due diligence again just to make sure, like, okay, I'm not crazy, right? Like, this is, like, because this is incredible, this move here, but man, did it die off fast. I really was expecting, like, at least 2 cents retest, but that didn't happen. So, next time we get 600 million in volume, no, 300 million in volume, at least we know it's going to pump for, like, 2 days in a row. And then top out on the 3rd day, at least. But we need 600 million in volume to really get going. I mean, the float is big, right? So it would take a ton of volume for this to move. That's just the reality. The reality is this, when it does go up to the higher exchange, I think they will be a low float. Because if they reverse split to a higher exchange, it'll be a low float, right? Because of the reverse split. Or if it reverse merges into something and it reverse merges into something that has a low float. So either way, it's a win-win, I think. But the problem is, I wonder if after it goes to the higher exchange, if it's going to just continue to be a pump and dump. Because that's all it's ever been, right? If you think about it, for the past 5 years, it's just been a pump and dump. And when a stock is a pump and dump, right, there's that quote, if it's a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck or whatever. I don't know, some quote like that. You get the point. If it pumps, and then it dumps, and then it pumps, and then it dumps, it's a pump and dump. It's done that for 5 years. Why wouldn't you assume it's going to continue to do that? Because there were people who thought this was going to start trending and going to the moon. In order for it to go to even 6 cents, or even 6.5 cents, it has to trend over the long term, which is not happening. This thing is just dropped right back down. So it is a pump and dump, always has been, and always will be until it shows us otherwise. You can't look at 5 years of data and pretend like that doesn't, like, you can't just ignore the data. That doesn't make sense. You end up getting screwed because you chase or whatever, and you hold a bag. Because I know that some people have messaged me like, I'm holding a bag up here at 1 cent. What do I do? Yeah, good luck, I guess. Hopefully you learned your lesson. Don't chase. I mean, I chased at this candle here at 007s, but I figured we would have at least another green day. I was not expecting 2 004 moves back to back, but hey, that worked out for me. In fact, maybe this cross under is about to happen on the daily time frame. That last time that happened here, I mean, we came down from 0069 to 004s. So, and then it went sideways here. So yeah, like I said, 003s, 004s is looking like the buy area. So watch for that cross under as well. If that cross under happens, we should push down.